Hi, I hope mko fiti mazing. Asante sana for choosing our content. Asante sana. I can't thank you enough. Your feedback and continued support is how we have grown this far. So leo tuko na conversation na the former chairman of the IEBC, that is the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Ahmed Issack Hassan.
Members of Parliament were very, very keen to know how their constituency will be drawn.
You have even dealt with rumors of your death.
Yes.
An idea comes for a marathon.
You can see guys who are coming, they can see the tape, but they actually pass and they're being stopped physically.
Yes. Now we have pinned a detailed profile ya Ahmed Issack Hassan hapa kwa comment section, na story yake ni kama movie. In fact, it is very well captured in this book. Kitabu yake inaitwa Referee of a Dirty Ugly Game. In fact, we are gonna give out one copy, a signed copy of this book to one of you. Stand by for details on how we are gonna do that. So please allow us to actually break this conversation down. In fact, this should not be a conversation. This is a movie. Allow us to break this movie down in 4 installments, starting with today's segment, which is worth every second of your time.
As a lawyer, when I was doing my legal practice,
Yes.
at the time I was doing some work for a sheikh. I got a call from a friend of mine who works in the NSIS and was based in Nyati House.
Now, to bring you good vibes, vile inafaa and as you wish, wadau, we also have partners on this other end who help us make this possible, right? Na si ati kutusaidia kulipa bills hapa na pale peke yake zi. Si uvet na tuna make sure mtu yote tuna bring on board, ama mtu yote ana work na sisi, ama mtu yote tume approach ku work na yeye akuna value to bring to you. So kabla tuzame kwa conversation, please allow me to tell you something about our partners. Odoo. Now, for many years, businesses have needed almost 14 softwares to run their day-to-day operations. Unataka software accounting, unataka ingine ya sales, you need another software for marketing, you need a software for HR, and so much more. Wadau, isn't that time-consuming and cumbersome? Now, imagine if you could run your entire business on one platform. So stop imagining, because you don't need to look no further than Odoo. This super platform has all the apps you need to run your entire business, and they're all interconnected. Sijui kama unaniget. Imagine communicating with your clients through WhatsApp directly from Odoo. Then your sales application creates a beautiful quotation which you can send directly and have your customer sign digitally. You can seamlessly manage production, packaging, and dispatch. You can sell both in the shop and online. And all this while having access to informative reports to aid your decision making. Not to mention HR and so much more. It's insane, man. The amount of time and money you stand to save, hata isi. To add to it all, it's super easy to use and extremely pocket friendly. Ile app ya kwanza unachagua based on your business needs is free for life. For example, you can start with a website, and as you scale your business, you can add all the apps you need at a very affordable rate. Now, for my people looking to streamline operations, you can book a free consultation meeting kwa hii link iko hapa kwa description, or if you're just getting started, you can start with your first app on Odoo, which is free for life. Usiache nyuma mazi. Biashara kwa mtandao efficiently na teketeke. Link iko hapa kwa description. In IEBC,
Yeah.
Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission,
Yeah.
there's a lot of politics in creation of boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Please break it down for us,
Yes.
the idea of boundary delimitation.
Well, boundary limitation has a lot to play in terms of how we are represented by our elected leaders in
How we are
Parliament,
represented.
or in the Senate, or in the local assemblies.
Yes.
And it begins with the theory that every person is equal in the country, all voters are equal, and every voter must have equal representation.
Okay.
So ideally, member of Parliament elected from Garissa or Turkana
Yes.
should have equal number of voters from a MP elected from Nyanza or Central Province, for example.
Yes. Yes.
But we have to do, but the number of seats are finite. We know there are 290.
Yes.
Or 210 in 2010.
Mm.
So this 290 you have to now distribute it in the country. How are you going to draw the boundaries,
Yes.
electoral boundaries?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And we try very hard to also follow administrative boundaries. We try when we are crafting the boundary.
Yes.
We also make sure that we try to follow both administrative boundary and natural boundaries like mountains or rivers and lakes. And so as you do this boundary delimitation, you make sure that in as much as possible, equal number of people are represented by the same, by a member of parliament or local. But of course, now there's a 40% variation for sparsely populated areas and densely populated. It's a very complicated math, but it is very clear that we need to have as much as possible equal number of people being
represented
by the same, with plus or minus 40%.
Yes.
Now the danger is that a lot of power comes with the boundaries for every elected.
A lot of power comes with the boundaries.
Yes.
Okay.
Power and resources. Look at the member of parliament, one MP, for example. He will have a driver, a bodyguard, a personal assistant. He will be in charge of the constituency development fund. I think within every member of parliament will control maybe 200 billion shillings a year.
Yes.
If not more.
Yes.
So this is a resource for that constituency. Now it's going down to even to the wards, the ward level.
Yes.
We have now the ward development fund or whatever.
Yes.
So the politics of boundaries has a lot of bearing on the politics of the country and the election.
And communities. Yes. One man, one shilling.
Now in pastoral communities, like in Garissa or Wajir, people mistake the electoral boundaries as you giving away their land to the other tribe or the other community.
Okay.
Because most of these lands are what we call trust lands,
Yes.
community land,
Yes.
where the livestock go and graze.
Yes.
So they are not owned by individuals, but it's a community land.
Yes.
And the moment they discover certain land, you drew a line only for election, but they take it as you are giving away their grazing land or their land to the next. So we had a problem in Garissa and Mandera on that because of the way the community perceived the boundaries as them losing their land to another tribe.
Yes. So now the politics, there is that side, but then there's also the politics of so this is where a community deems to benefit more from national resources if they have more constituencies.
Obviously, if you have more constituencies and more county assembly wards, the more money you get from the national national cake.
Okay.
And therefore, if you have got more wards, you are able to elect more assembly wards and more members of parliament. So it is both power and resource. I think the most important thing is the resource, the money.
Most
that
resources.
Comes with the
But where does gerrymandering come in, where politicians want to interfere?
Yes, that's now different. This now the personal interest of the individual member of parliament.
Okay.
Or especially the MPs.
Okay.
Because they will want to have an electoral map which favors them. And this happened during my time when in 2012 we did a boundary delimitation for the next election.
Yes.
On 4th of March.
Yes.
And members of parliament were very, very keen to know how their constituency will be drawn. Okay? And some were coming with specific maps to remove a particular community. This group, this tribe, this sub-clan don't support me and I don't want them in my boundary. So you'll find back and forth. Even when we want to do public participation, to collect public views, members of parliament will go and lobby and bring their supporters now to talk for them. Of course, the MP will be the first to speak and give his own views. And then you'll see now the chorus being followed by the councillors, by the mayor, the former mayor.
You can see that.
Of course, you can see that. But of course, we have a very clear criteria in the constitution on how to draw, and that's what we did. And some of the members of parliament who are very powerful at the time were not happy with my decision and our decision as a commission. And of course, I described in the book.
So when a politician is vying, they know the composition especially for the metropolitan areas.
Yes.
Let's give an example of Eldoret town. Not to say that
Yeah.
it's just an example.
Yeah.
Eldoret or Nakuru town, or let's say in Nairobi, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's use Nairobi for because people may politicize this. The members of, he has a
Particular
majority,
tribe, yeah.
will vote for him.
Yeah. That is now, if you look at the word gerrymandering,
Yes.
it's actually the name of an individual who was a politician in the US who came up with that. He drew a map where it looked like a salamander. You know a salamander? This. So it was drawn so clear. In the US, actually in the US, it's very bad. They draw it in a way that, for example, in Atlanta, Georgia, it's a black. There are a lot of blacks there, but most of the members of parliament are from white. And if you go back, it's the way they draw the map. It's always very critical. So in Kenya, it's not very bad, but we have seen some try to, at least in my experience from Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera, and even in Marsabit, I think, and some is the Pokot and the Turkana have got a problem always when it comes to boundaries. And by the way, there's also a bigger problem also between counties on their boundaries.
Okay.
Whether it is Isiolo County and Meru, Tharaka-Nithi and Meru, whether it is, there are different counties who also need to be sorted out.
Yes.
But coming back to ours, I think we don't have, now it is overdue. The next boundary delimitation was due in 2022.
Yes.
And we have not yet done. And I think you will see now the amount of interest on this one is going to be very big.
Okay, and the general public doesn't know that. And this concept of gerrymandering in Kenya also then supports a theory I have, and I think something I came across, that then one of the strategies to win elections as the threat of violence.
Yeah.
Yes, you can carve out the boundary to a community that favors you, but then you can also threaten violence to a community that does not come from there, so that people start, the idea of people shifting during elections that's actually a form of election in itself.
Yes. Election violence, which is done before the election itself. You see, for you to win an election, I say in this book, first you have to declare where you want to contest.
Yes.
What seat, councillor, MP, governor, or whatever.
Yes.
Make up your mind on where, and then which area you want to do it. Then you have to mobilize your people to get ID cards. Then get them to register as voters. And then, of course, during election day, get them out to come and vote, the turnout. That's the best scenario. But there's also violence, which is also used as a way to win the election, like we're saying, to discourage those who are not your supporters.
Yes.
From even to register as voters. And if they do, make sure they don't come out to vote. And if they come, to cause violence that day where they're going to vote. So there are a lot of different tactics used by politicians to win.
Yeah.
That's why I call it a
dirty game, ugly game. Yes. And for example, when you talk of public participation, and you can see that there is a game that has been played here, did you have a backup plan on how to manage the accuracy of the report you're going to generate from that?
During the boundary delimitation. The good thing with the boundary delimitation for us, it was done, the bulk of the work was done by the Interim Independent Boundaries Review Commission, chaired by Andrew Ligale.
Yes.
So we had the Ligale report.
Yes.
And our job was just to polish up and do final editing and consultation.
Okay.
So even the public consultation was to consult the people on the report. We already have this. This has been prepared by the previous commission, and this is what they are going to propose. We want to know what you think about it. So we used to get that feedback from public on the the report done already by.
Yes,
So
yes,
it was we were using 80% of the report done by the Legal Commission,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we were
Okay, okay.
so easy for us.
Okay, there's a word being thrown around in Kenya right now that you've mentioned, public participation.
Yes.
This book gives the proper account of what public participation should be
Yes.
when you are with the Yashpal Guy Commission.
Yes.
I don't think there is a corner of this country you did not visit to come up with the final report of that commission, right? What do you think is the benefit of a proper public participation? And for the person who, and I hope people lay their hands on this book, kabisa kabisa, because we'll talk in patches. The real movie is in reading the book for yourself. What are we missing in terms of public participation? Is it too expensive now compared to how you did it? How does it compare?
The Yashpal Guy Commission,
Yes.
of which I was a member, I think was one of the most important commissions, Antara Commission,
yes.
in the country.
Yes.
And when we talk about public participation, we actually went to every single part of the country. I've seen in the book, I've explained where I have myself been, where I went to Mali, Lamu, Marsabit, all the way to Turkana, all that. And so our public participation was real. First, we went out to conduct a civic education. Then we drafted the constitution. Then we went back to tell them what it was. Then we now conducted the final public participation before it went for a referendum.
Yes.
And so when the committee of experts was appointed later to do an editing of the book, I think of the constitution,
yes.
I always find it very sad that they are given the credit of drafting the new constitution. And actually, the actual commission which did the constitution was the one chaired by Professor Yashpal Guy. But to come back to your point, to actually do serious public participation,
yes,
will cost the country a lot of money, because it costed money for us to do that kind of public participation.
Yes.
Now, whenever the parliament is passing a law, it's required by the constitution to conduct public participation.
Okay.
And you have seen the advertising in the nation about town hall meetings in different towns.
Yes.
I don't think they do it in all the 47 counties.
They don't.
They don't.
Ideally, they should.
They should. Ideally, they should at least reach every county.
Yes.
But they will tell you it's expensive to do that. So they're doing a sampling of the country.
Does sampling give feedback as much as I'm trying to see? We can measure the value of the Yashpal Guy Commission.
Yeah.
Does it match up to how much was invested? Was there a return on investment?
Yes.
Then it's not expensive.
Yes. It's not, of course. It's not expensive because we captured the public, the pulse of the nation properly that time.
This means that for, let's say, a law has been created or we need to make changes.
Yeah.
And this public participation is basically every Kenyan gives their opinion.
You see, it depends on the kind of document you are discussing. If it's a constitutional amendment, every county, every part of the nation needs to be consulted. If it's about a coffee amendment, an amendment bill to the Coffee Act or the Tea Act or a Livestock Act, then you can understand why the public participation is limited to specific stakeholders, for example.
Yes.
So again, there's actually a Supreme Court decision on public participation.
Okay.
And it says it must be meaningful. It should not just be checking the boxes.
Yes.
In public, you must have a proper public where you invite actual people, not those who are always in your email list. You know, the email list you just send, they come and then you give them lines, they sign for you the attendance register, and then you say you have done a public participation. So there is actually a law on the Supreme Court decision on the public participation, and I think it gives a very good guidance on how we should do it.
Before we left the point of, and I think let me start with your observation of Kenyans. there's a place in terms of publicizing, creating publicity for the work of the commission. An idea comes for a marathon.
Yeah.
In Eldoret, people say the marathon is too short.
Yes, I actually saw it. I saw that. You see, those people, they love to run. And I was at the finishing lane, because we're giving out the gifts of the winner. But you can see guys who are coming, I think we are making it because we are just doing it for as a way to arouse. So we made it 5 kilometers.
Yes.
So it's like some of them were saying,
Kuchemuka.
Stop.
Yes.
So you are stopping somebody who is just now.
They're just starting.
Yes.
Yes.
And then in Yeri they were saying how much is the price. But that is anecdotal evidence from the ground.
Yes.
I'm sure in both Nyeri and Eldoret, they had a good run, a good marathon.
And it's funny how the examples in this book, bado sijaguzia story, I've not touched on your entry into campus. By the real movie, we'll just touch on it kidogo in patches. Your understanding of Kenyans. I actually, from the book, I come to learn of Nitwaji. You deal with Kenyans, like Kenyans as a people, public perception, right? You have even dealt with rumors of your death.
Yes.
Right? You know you are innocent, and you've explained your account in the book, right? What is your view of Kenyans from all your experiences tied together? Because this, for example, what you've just said, that's stereotypes of how different and diverse
we are as a
people are.
Yes.
But we sometimes unite in perception, right? People have wished you the worst, but when you read the book in terms of what was going on behind the scenes, people are reacting to an image that has been created.
Yes.
A wrong image, right? But you kept on working. You gave it your best shot.
Yes.
So how do you view Kenyans as a people? Are we so gullible? Do we have a future? Do we have hope for knowing? Can information change? Will people, as in, if more people knew what happens behind the scenes, right? Would it change how we are as a society? Because, for example, when I asked if a commission, would it matter if a commission came from one tribe, but they can deliver? You say no. We want diversity, but in some institutions, they will do nothing. So we will not benefit, but just for the idea that we've been represented. Do you think information is why we are held back by most of the...
No, I don't think so. It's the view... Kenyans, I think, as I've said, are very tribal.
Yes.
They stick to their... Whether you give them the facts or not. If their political leader or the person they supported said that you are wrong or you are bad, that's it. I mean, even despite my writing this book, if I say, for example, I tweet something on Twitter or even on YouTube, you will find, you look at the commentary, you'll still find people still accusing me of rigging the elections in 2013, or even of eating chicken gate. I mean, they don't care that you have said everything in the book.
Yes.
Nobody cares about what's in the book or the truth.
So where you are saying the book, but an article, they react to the headline more than the content of the article.
So what do you do? Just I have given up myself on trying to convince anybody. Just put your own story and say your truth.
Whoever cares, asome. Na hiyo ni kionjo tu wadau, there is more to come. Please, let's engage in the comment section. Kwanza hii kitabu tunafaa kupeana. Tutumie criteria gani? Tupatie wa mwisho kucomment. Let's discuss. Hata mimi mwenyewe, I'm in there. I'll be replying to your comments. Please also give us suggestions. Who do you want to see having a conversation on this platform? Please link me up. I am actively in the comment section, tukidiscuss, tukiengage. Hiyo conversation yetu na Ahmed Issack Hassan, umecheki vile hiyo location inakaa fiti. it's happening ama ina happen pale Wojo. Na Wojo ni a premium co-working space, iko Upper Hill, Nairobi. Ile building ilikuwa Crown Plaza, sasa inaitwa Makiwa Hotel, 9th floor na 10th floor, sasa ndio Wojo. So Wojo, kama unahitaji office space na uhitaji hiyo hustle ya kwenda kufurnish space, kuhaya nini, wako na very very affordable and beautiful packages ya kupata nafasi ya, let's say unataka walk-in meeting, uko na mkutano na unahitaji boardroom, they have a package for you. Unahitaji space ya uko na watu kidogo, unataka ku reduce your office running costs za biashara na unataka place inakaa classy, top of the range, wanakuja na package ya Wojo. By the way, inakuja na all your office needs, including endless supply of coffee, uko na printing papers, full access, uko na free Wi-Fi and very high speed internet. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that comes with the package at Wojo. You may need to check it out kama unataka ku set up, ama probably uko na ofisi na unafeel labda running cost ni high, na labda you need ofisi full time, una need ofisi for a period of time. You're coming from out of town and you need a place to work. You need a place to meet professionally. Please consider checking out Wojo. Otherwise, I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. I hope you enjoyed that conversation, and still we have so much more. Na conversation yetu pia, consider subscribing to the channel. We have a lot of good vibes already uploaded on the channel. We have so much more coming through. Welcome to the family. Asante sana. Kwanza juzi tumecross the 500,000 subscriber mark. The family is growing. Asanteni sana. Let's keep it that way.